I'm going to share my take on multidimensional consciousness, which we've been talking about before in other words. To present myself a little bit, I joined Annelise's course 2 years ago because of gender-related issues, believing or knowing that I could bring my body into alignment from within, which, DNA reprogramming was, of course, it sounded a very good way to do that. And joining Annelise's course gifted me, up until now, the experience of experiencing my body as a travel buddy, as a travel companion. It's not separated from me anymore. I've embraced it as a part of myself, as a part of my whole self, which in turn is actually just self-love. I'm still on this journey of alignment, but most recently, I felt myself shifting towards fearlessness, towards the experience of unconditional expectations, knowing that everything is possible, and at the same time letting go of the matter of things or the form of the result of it, and focusing on enjoying the experience of the journey in itself. And from that experience, I want to share my take on multidimensional consciousness tonight, and in a way rephrase from my experience what healing actually is. To be clear, I'm not going to use too many scientific or academical terms. I don't have degrees in it. I'm just going to share my interpretation from my experience, from what I feel, from my inner knowing, my awakening, innate wisdom that we all have and share. I'm not going to share any absolute truth. I do believe there is an absolute truth, but it's an infinitely growing puzzle, and all of us, we are a piece of that puzzle through the experience of the lives that we have, in a way. So with whatever that I'm sharing tonight, feel what resonates for you. There are no rights or wrongs. There's just experience to help grow your puzzle. It's your experience that matters to you. Annelise has shown this, just a few slides ago, the torus fields. That's just one image of two images that I want to show that are a little bit more scientifical. As Annelise has said before, every living thing has this field. It's a channel that transforms or translates higher dimensional energy to lower dimensional energy. So it means that if you start zooming in into your own body, or if you start zooming out to the universe, you're always going to see a repetition of the same thing, which brings me to a second image, fractals or geometry. Everything in life, in creation, is actually defined by the same laws of nature. Here you can see a spiral, which is actually the golden ratio. And for instance, where a tree grows its next branch is defined by this, the laws that are shown here in a way. And sometimes I can hear people say that they are afraid to be silent. They are afraid of the emptiness within themselves, which is a bit weird if you know this, because if you go within, you will actually find yourself. The same way as you zoom out, you will find another version of yourself as well. Anyway, multidimensional consciousness, our reality is actually holographical in a way. You could see, if you look at the ocean is made up of drops of water, but every drop of water has all the information of the ocean within itself. Or if you turn this around, the ocean in itself is a drop of water in a bigger ocean, and so on and so on. So if you go within, or if you go without, or above or below, it's always a repetition of the same thing. So going within is the best way to find all the answers for yourself and for your life. Intuition, inner knowing, inner authority, innate wisdom, the field, the universe, the source, God, whatever you call it, all of that is present within yourself, because in essence, you are the source of life having an experience. You are a unique point of view on creation of reality in itself as the source of life. Now, to talk about multidimensional consciousness, I want to compare it to wave surfing to make it a little bit more easy to understand, or at least that's how I see it. And wave surfing, you need yourself, you need a board, and you need the waves. Beautifully, this wave in itself is a spiral that I just shown you, because it's a part of life, and everything is formed on these same laws. You can see a surfer on a board laying down and one sitting up waiting for the waves. Now, wave surfing has a few steps, and I'm just gonna go over them really quickly to apply them after that to the process of healing, at least how I perceive healing at this moment. The first step is standing on the beach with your board. You have to make the decision to actually go into the water. There are waves, hopefully, because without waves, you won't be able to surf. It could be cold, it could be turbulent, but you have to go in. The second step is paddling beyond the waves. You have to get beyond the waves that are collapsing on the beach in order to come to a place of smooth water where you can wait for the waves to build up, where you can read them and actually start to surf, knowing that you're not alone in the water. Not all the waves are for you, but there is one for you, and you will catch one when you wait. Then you start paddling again to actually catch one. And when you're done with it, when you're able to surf, you're on the beach again. And you have to repeat it all over again. Now, how do we apply this to live surfing? Because apparently wave surfing is very addictive. I know that from experience, but live surfing as well, because we keep coming back as souls, apparently. It must be good to be here on Earth at this moment, somehow. Standing on the beach with your board, well, the surfer and your board, you could compare that to your personality and your body. Fear is what keeps us from experiencing the flow of life or the flow of love. It keeps us on the beach. It prevents us from going into the water. There are many reasons to do that, but if we let fear decide, we're not surfing anyway, anyhow. We are just standing on the beach watching the waves. It could be nice as well, but we're here to surf. The second step, paddling beyond the waves. Well, the waves are there. We have to get past them because otherwise we are not able to surf. But anger or frustration might turn these waves into a struggle or into a laundry machine. That's the way I experience them when I go surfing at the moment. If you do that, every emotion or thought of resistance to the waves, it actually creates a suffering. It's the resisting to the flow or the waves of life that makes it harder than it should be. Without the waves, we couldn't surf, so they are here for a reason. And as Annalise has said, it's actually an initiation or the things that we are going through are an initiation. It's a part of life. When I look at the average person on this globe at the moment, most of them are self-identifying themselves with their emotions, with their thoughts, with their personality, and with their body. They are, in a way, a victim to themselves without actually knowing it. But we have tools, as we've seen before. We have EFT, we have Ho'oponopono, and many other tools to actually start to learn or actually unlearn how to get beyond these waves. We are, by doing those tools or applying them, we are releasing these resisting thoughts and emotions, and we are initiating ourselves in life itself. The third step, the smooth waiting for the waves, reading them building up. It's this place of inner peace and acceptance of what is. You've released the identification with your emotions and your thoughts. You know you can reprogram them because you are not them in itself. They are part of you, but you're not them. You don't suppress them, you don't deny them, you just start observing them and allowing them. They're here for a reason as well. This inner peace, this acceptance, is a foundation to actually be able to start to serve the waves of life. You're not a victim anymore. There is no fear or no worries, or you're growing towards that spot. There's just love for the waves itself. And this is where we are right now, or where we're growing towards. If I look at everyone in this DNA course, we know we are here to serve. We know we're not our emotions and our thoughts. We know we come to this place without fear, without worries, and we focus on our healing out of belief that we can. And when we do, we catch our wave and we start a healing process, knowing that once you have served, you're on the beach again, and you might have to go through it again. But every time it becomes easier because you get used to it. You have the tool. You know that all this surfing is a part of life. Now, you may wonder, why do we need waves in life? Well, life in itself is an expansion from the source to experience itself. And again, it's also a process of returning to source through that experience. It's like the tides of the ocean, going up, going down, all over again and again. There is a force of resistance within this going up and down to facilitate this expansion and this experience. One might call this darkness, but actually it's just a part of life, this resistance to make life possible. But in this era where we are living right now, and I'm convinced that we are returning home. And for those that know Anders Holte, a musician from Denmark, he has music with this title. I can, what's the word in English? Well, I like it very much. So for those that like music, I can, I don't know the word, but I propose to have a look at it anyway. The waves of life are a way to release, to clear, to cleanse this resistance that is part of life in itself. If I look at it like that, if I rephrase healing, it's releasing what has been falsely learned through the ages, or actually it's a part of unlearning. We are remembering who we are in itself. We are, in fact, human beings, not human doings. We just have to be here and experience all of it. We are, in a way, on a mission to anchor light so that we help this return to the source of love and life in itself. We chose, in a way, to take upon us this resistance, this force, in the body that we inhabit right now, in the personality that we have, in the lineage from our parents, and in the environment that we were born into. And we release it, not just for us, but for all of us, which is Ho'oponopono in a way. So don't think of your illness or whatever that you're struggling with as something that's blocking you, or that you're sabotaging yourself, that it's your fault, that it's your mistake, or that it's right or wrong. It's only a divinely chosen and planned experience of life in a way. And healing in itself, from that point of view, can take many forms of results, or many unique itineraries, depending on your life and your journey. Well, multidimensional consciousness, it doesn't end with catching a wave. It actually starts with becoming the ocean. It's beyond just reading the waves. It goes towards actually being able to predict them. You're realizing you're not the surfer with the board. You are becoming the ocean, creating the waves, projecting yourself into a surfer so that you can experience these waves. And while you're doing that, you're releasing all of this built-up resistance, which is actually the process of healing. So I would say focus on enjoying the surfing in itself, because joy is the currency of the soul, or the currency of consciousness, which in turn creates a life or an economy of love. A lot of people in this time are talking about ascension. Most of them are focusing on a vertical dimension. They want to go up there to their higher self, or even beyond that. Don't forget that the experience is down here, and that you don't have to go up, because you already are there. You already are the source of life, having this experience. But don't forget the horizontal dimension as well. Acknowledge that you're not the only surfer, and you don't have to be. There are other surfers, and all of these surfers are not just points of view, but also points of you. You're always seeing a part of yourself in a way. Tools to become the ocean that I have come across are astrology, human design, Enneagram, and gene keys. They help you understand, in a way, the predictive flow of the waves. Some of the things that are supposed to or going to happen in our lives are already planned in a way within the energy of life itself. Other tools help you understand yourself, your personality, in relation to others. You get to know how you function, but also how someone else might function, so you know what's the best way to surf together when you're in the waves. Reality, or real creation, happens outside of time and matter, because it only exists within our experience. Every potential, and I'm not just talking about the present, but also the past and the future, is in a way a bubble of imagination. If you hear about the Akasha, I see that as a library of all these bubbles, of all this potential. If you visualize, to me, that word means that you're a little bit limited to what your mind can comprehend, to what it knows and what it sees with its eyes. If you imagine, as Annelies has mentioned before as well, go beyond that, go out of your mind, step out of your linear thinking, and include everything. Include what you're wearing, include what you're sensing, include what you're seeing, include where you are, include all the directions and senses that you have at this moment. Practice this with the present moment, practice with the past moment, and practice this form of imagination with multiple potential nows of the future. And when you do that, and it's a practice, I'm actually practicing that myself, to get out of this way of thinking into this multidimensional view of life. You become the ocean, creating the bubbles or the waves, and you are the surfer, choosing which wave to surf. And in the end, you are the ocean.